All right, let's talk about the single most powerful tool you have in your communication toolkit. I'm talking about the verb. Seriously, it is the engine that makes every single sentence go. And really getting a handle on it, that's the secret to making everything you say and write so much more dynamic and clear. So let's get into it.
So let me just start by asking you this. What's the one word, the single most important word in any sentence? Think about it. There's one word that a sentence literally cannot exist without. Any guesses? Yep, it's the verb. Verbs are the action, they're the power, they're the absolute heart of everything we communicate. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to dig into why we call the verb the engine of the sentence. Then, we'll get into the two main flavors, verbs that show someone doing something versus verbs that show something being something. After that, we'll meet the verb's secret weapon, its sidekick, the helping verb, and we'll check out its toolkit. And then, at the end, we're going to put it all together and unlock some serious communication superpowers.
Okay, section 1, the sentence's engine. Let's really get under the hood here and see why verbs are so essential. You know, this quote really just says it all, doesn't it? I mean, you can have a subject, you can have a bunch of words describing that subject, but if you don't have a verb, nothing is happening. It's just a static picture with no life. The verb is what injects that life, that action, that meaning into the whole thing. It is the one part of a sentence you just can't get rid of. So, what's the official definition? Well, a verb is a word that shows an action, a state of being, or a condition. But let's put that more simply. It's the part of the sentence that basically answers the question, so, what's going on here? Is someone running? Is something existing? Is a situation changing? The verb is what tells us all of that. All right, section 2, doing versus being. Now that we know what a verb is, let's look at the two main jobs it can have. And this is a really big deal, this split between action and connection. Understanding this is a total game changer for figuring out how sentences work. So this is really the first major fork in the road for verbs. On one side, you've got your action verbs. These are the doers. We're talking words that describe an action, whether it's something physical, like jumping, or something mental, like remembering. Then on the other side, you've got linking verbs. Think of these as the connectors. They don't show any action at all. Their only job is to build a little bridge between the subject and a word that tells you more about it. Let's look at some classic action verbs. What's really important to notice here is that action doesn't just mean you're moving around. I mean, you can physically run a race, sure, but you can also mentally understand a concept. Both of those are actions. The key thing is that the subject of the sentence is actively doing something, whether that's with their body or just in their head. Now, let's switch gears and look at linking verbs. See how there's no action happening here? In she is confident, she's not doing anything. The verb is just describes something she is. It's like an equals sign in math. She equals confident. Same for the rest of them. The food tastes good, so food equals good. They seem happy. They equal happy. It's all about making a connection, not showing an action. Okay, section 3. Let's meet the verb's sidekick. You know, every hero needs a sidekick, and the main verb is no different. It's time to bring in the helping verb. These little words might seem small, but they are absolutely the key to unlocking a main verb's true potential. They give it nuance, tense, and some incredible precision. Yeah, the fancy term for them is auxiliary verb, but honestly, helping verb tells you exactly what they do. They team up with the main verb to give us all this extra crucial information, like is this action happening right now, or did it happen yesterday? Is it just a possibility, or is it a flat-out command? Helping verbs are what answer all those questions, adding all these rich layers of meaning to the main action. So, section 4, the helper's toolkit. What exactly is in this sidekick's toolkit? Let's open it up and see the specific tools that helping verbs use to supercharge our main verbs. Let's look at the main categories. First up, you've got forms of be, like is, are, or was. These create that ongoing, continuous action, like she is working right now. Then you have forms of have, which show that an action is totally complete. He has completed the work. The verb do is a really powerful one for adding emphasis, like they did complete it, or for asking questions. And finally, you have modals, words like can, must, should, or might, which add those critical shades of meaning, like possibility and obligation. All right, section 5, unlocking superpowers. This is where it all comes together. We've got our hero, the main verb, and we've got its trusty sidekick, the helping verb. Now let's see what happens when we combine them to pull off some truly advanced moves in communication.
Okay, one of the biggest superpowers you can have is controlling the focus of your sentence. And you do that by choosing between the active and passive voice. So in the active voice, the spotlight is on the person doing the action. She completed the assignment. It's direct, it's clear, it's powerful. But in the passive voice, the spotlight shifts to the thing receiving the action. The assignment was completed. See the difference? This is super useful when you don't know who did the action, or maybe it just doesn't matter. And notice what makes it possible. That little helping verb, was.
Building the passive voice is actually way easier than it sounds. It's like a simple recipe. Step 1, you start with the thing that received the action. In this case, the assignment. Step 2, you add a helping verb from the be family, like was or is or has been. And for step 3, you add the past participle of the main verb. That's usually the one that ends in ed. So, completed. Put it all together and bam, you've totally shifted the focus of the sentence. Here's another cool superpower, knowing when a thought is actually complete. A transitive verb, it's kind of like a bridge that's missing its other side. It needs an object to land on. If I just say, she bought, your brain immediately goes, bought what? It needs a dress to feel finished. But an intransitive verb, that's a complete bridge all by itself. He arrived. Full stop. The thought is complete. This is a writer's secret weapon, right? Intransitive verbs create these fast, punchy sentences, while transitive verbs slow things down to add important details.
And finally, let's look at a quick pro tip. Stative verbs. Getting this right can make your speech and writing sound so much more natural. These are verbs that describe states, not actions. Words like know, believe, own, or like. And because they aren't really actions, they usually sound pretty weird with an ing at the end. I mean, you'd never say, I am knowing the answer, right? You just say, I know the answer. It's a subtle thing, but it makes a big difference. Okay, let's do a quick flyby recap. We started with the idea that the verb is the absolute engine of every sentence. We saw that it can either show action or it can build a connection. We met its awesome sidekick, the helping verb, which adds all that crucial info about time and possibility. And we saw how putting all these pieces together unlocks amazing tools like the passive voice, letting you control the focus and meaning of your communication.
So, we've gone from the basic engine of the verb all the way up to its most advanced superpowers. And remember, these aren't just boring grammar rules. They're tools. They're tools for building better arguments, for telling clearer stories, and for making a much bigger impact with your words. The tools are yours now. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?